Hello and welcome to episode 130 of the Jurassic Outpost InGeneral podcast. My name's Jack and we got a lively one today. I'm joined with Caleb, Jaden all the way in Australia. I'm joined with Samantha and Corey. We're going to have a late drop in from Assis, hopefully. I hope that actually happens now, would be saying. Okay, there is a lot to talk about. This podcast, we're going to talk about all the new information about Jurassic World revealed. But before we do that, I do just want to say, on this podcast, we talk spoilers, we talk leaks, we kind of just free flow, talk about anything. So if you want to avoid spoilers for the new movie, might be best to avoid this one. But only the brave ones stay in. Let's talk about this film because I'm rambling now. Caleb, help me run through this plot synopsis.
Hello.
Hello.
So
Welcome.
the release that Universal sent out yesterday with everything else about Jurassic World Rebirth, it started with something I think is important, which is a new era is born. And then I'm just going to read the gist of the release and then the synopsis. But says next summer, 3 years after the Jurassic World trilogy concluded, with each film surpassing 1 billion at the global box office, the enduring Jurassic
Paragraph. Studio's like, yeah.
it's a good brag. The enduring Jurassic series evolves in an ingenious new direction with Jurassic World Rebirth. Ingenious little Jurassic World wordplay there in Gen. Anchored by iconic action superstar Scarlett Johansson, breakthrough talent Jonathan Bailey, and two-time Oscar winner Mahershala Ali. Hell yeah. This action-packed new chapter sees an intrepid team racing to secure DNA samples from the three most colossal creatures across land, sea, and air. Also starring acclaimed international stars Rupert Friend and Manuel Garcia Rulfo, the film is directed by dynamic visualist Gareth Edwards of Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, from a script by original Jurassic Park screenwriter David Koepp. Hell yeah. Okay, so here's where we get into the important part of the synopsis. 5 years after the events of Jurassic World Dominion, the planet's ecology has proven largely inhospitable to dinosaurs. Those remaining exist in isolated, equatorial environments with climates resembling the one in which they once thrived. The three most colossal creatures within that tropical biosphere, which I think is an interesting wording, hold the key to a drug that will bring miraculous life-saving benefits to humankind. Academy Award nominee Johansson plays skilled covert operations expert Zora Bennett, contracted to lead a skilled team on a top-secret mission to secure genetic material from the world's three most massive dinosaurs. When Zora's operation intersects with a civilian family whose boating expedition was capsized by marauding aquatic dinos, they all find themselves stranded on an island where they come face to face with a sinister, shocking discovery that's been hidden from the world for decades.
Dun, dun.
And then it goes on to tell us a little bit more about the cast, which is that Ali is Duncan Kincaid, Zora's most trusted team leader, Emmy nominee and Olivier Award winner Jonathan Bailey, plays paleontologist, fuck yeah, yes. Dr. Henry Loomis, Emmy nominee Rupert Friend. Emmy nominee Rupert Friend appears as Big Pharma representative Martin Krebs, and Manuel Garcia Rulfo plays Ruben Delgado, the father of the shipwrecked civilian family. The cast also includes Luna Blaze, David Iacono, and Audrina Miranda, presumably as Manuel Garcia Rulfo's family. The film also features as members of Zora and Krebs' crews Philippine Velge, Bashir Sylvain, and Ed Screen. So
hell yeah. So we obviously Belchier Sylvain got announced a few days before this announcement, but the three additional cast members padding out that team, that's the Merc team. That's Scarlett's team, right, in the movie.
Oh yeah,
those five
gotta be.
Yeah,
people. Hell yeah. I mean, there's a lot in there, and there's so much to go over. With the synopsis, there was 2 images,
and a new logo.
So, I mean, let's dive into the first image. So we see Dr. Loomis. Dr. Henry Loomis.
Which I must say is a very British name, in my opinion.
I was going to say, it sounds quite British, doesn't it? And Zora Bennett. What do we think they're looking at? And also, notice they're in the long grass that was rumored to have been grown. So, I mean, what were our first thoughts when we saw this? Jaden, talk to me, all the way in Australia.
Well, the logo for Rebirth, I'll talk about that first. I thought it was because I woke up at 4 a.m. because I had a bunch of notifications going off and stuff. I thought it was Jurassic World Evolution 3, the logo at first, because I was like a bit groggy and I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh, it's the movie. But yeah, the image with ScarJo and Jonathan Bailey in the tall grass was very, very cool. I don't know what they're looking at. I would love to hear your guesses. Or anything
I
like
think
that.
they're looking at a really, really. To quote the synopsis, I think they're looking at a colossal sauropod. Is what I think they're looking at.
Yeah,
because Jonathan Bailey is a paleontologist and he looks happy in that photo. So
he does look happy. He's got that kind of first time seeing a dinosaur look. Whereas Zora, right? Zora?
Yeah.
Zora looks pretty. She looks a little concerned. She looks less enthused by what she's saying. She looks more...
My impression was that Jonathan Bailey's character might have seen a dinosaur before, since they're sort of spread a little bit, and then the look on Scarlett Johansson's face says to me that it's her first time. To me, but
interesting.
I don't know.
Could be. And then the second picture is Mahershala Ali.
Yeah, Bucky, you love Mahershala Ali.
You're giving him a shout out.
So this image is, I mean, both images strike such a Jurassic tone for me. You got the warm jungle in that first one, but in the second one, you have nighttime. You have obviously a flare, so Jurassic, but you have that kind of terrified looking up at something. I mean, he's obviously on a pier. What do we know about this image? Like, what's been revealed about it?
It's basically been revealed that it's, I mean, I guess we won't know 100% for certain until we see the movie, but like, it's basically been connected to that dock, that sort of long, I mean, to me, it looked kind of rusty and old, but I don't know, like long, rusty old dock set in Thailand. There were some photo leaks from there of like a gas pump and some posts and lights and stuff. It seems like this is there. The sign behind Mahershala Ali says await rescue craft here, right? And then there's an InGen logo bottom right. So there were supposedly, in those leaked photos from a while back, there were supposedly some InGen logos on that dock. So this seems to be there, and we seem to be on some sort of InGen property. I don't know where it is, but...
Yeah, so that InGen logo has leaked. I saw Bryson post it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which does line up to what we're seeing in that image. I actually found a higher res version of the image yesterday by reverse image searching it. And it is the InGen logo. It really does line up with that one that was shared. Also, just looking at the image now, if you zoom in, I'll post it in the chat there. What's that? That's not another flare in Mahershala's belt, is it? You see the image?
Let me see.
Zoom into his belt. He's holding. There's something in his belt. Unless
I see what you're saying.
Super mistaken by what that is. Is that like a vial of something?
It
oh my, Jack!
What is that? That's not a flare, is it?
Maybe it's
I would hope
T-Rex
not.
P.
I think
it looks like
so.
Is the flare too bright? Can you zoom in on like the actual flare he's holding? Is it?
It's too bright. It's obscuring.
That's way too bright.
But like that,
it's completely obscured.
Don't flares usually have like a cover paper on the outside?
Usually glass or plastic looking, are they? That looks like a clear.
Yeah.
So
like
that to me looks
like a vet thing.
Yeah, that to me looks like a vial with like a silver cap that like screws on it or something.
Yeah.
Like a little hand
what if it was
sanitizer
like
conditioner bottle.
5-hour energy.
What if it was
I
like
was about to say,
a
That's
bear
just a
spray?
personal thing for on the island.
Say that
Did you
again,
say bear
Corey?
spray?
What'd you say?
Yeah, what if it was like some sort of like, like mace or something like that? I can see because the top of it's kind of obscured, so it feels like a spray bottle. I don't know.
Oh, the top of it. Wait,
spray.
the top of it does sort of have a
Have a
nozzle,
little
Yeah.
so it could be like a dinosaur deterrent or something.
And in
I
this
mean,
part,
we
this part
established that in
Already-
Dino Tracker,
There you
so
go.
there you go. Could be that. I did not notice that when we were looking at this.
I didn't either. Wow.
But I think it is definitely the same dog, right? Because you can see those little orange lights on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, that sign. So have you guys got that InGen logo? Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
So it isn't the InGen logo we know and love.
Yes,
Well, I
correct.
don't know about love. It's not the InGen logo.
It's a
from
rebrand.
It's a rebrand.
Oh,
A new
InGen
era.
Rebirth
biogenetics.
of engine.
I think. Well, yeah, it's a rebrand, or it's I don't know. It's an evolution, maybe, depending on when it's from.
I mean, you got to figure they've had 2 pretty significant park accidents with that logo. You think they'd probably change it for a new one?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
we're rebranding. We're moving forward.
That's a very corporate thing to do.
That's true. I was and I was also gonna say, like, corporations or like organizations a lot of times will they might have more than one logo that they're some variant logos that they're working around with.
Sure.
Yeah.
100%. I'm not, but my issue with it is that it's not an issue. I'm just curious. Like, when does this place us? Is this something
yeah.
new? The logo in JP3 always gets to me because I'm like, which era is this? Is this just purely a production designer made that decision? No, it's kind of cool. It looks cool. Or does it mean that InGen went back? Or as Alex was saying before, is it like an older logo than the one we see in the first Jurassic Park? It's obviously just production designer making a decision, but surely, like, this time there'd be some logic to it.
I was just gonna say to me it just gives me the vibes that it's older, like it's from a place that's older. The audience just hasn't seen it before.
It was like the original engine logo before they fixed it up,
It
like the
gives
old
me-
Windows logo.
So watching all the Alien films recently, like sort of the way.
Me too.
Yeah, exactly. The way it's not really. I don't know what the correct word is to use, but like the way the letters are blocked in the I and the N, kind of like that font kind of reminds me of the Wayland Yutani logo a little bit. Like they're almost like the W is sort of in the same vein, but I don't know.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
It's actually just Site C, guys. That's what it is. They
It
just haven't told us about it
very
yet.
well could be.
Well, that's the thing. If we go by that logic, it doesn't matter what time frame it was that InGen made it. They had different logos at the same era being used. So this is maybe just the logo that was used for this specific island, which was specifically the biogenetics side of InGen. Maybe, I don't know, but I mean, it's a background. Unless it's really featured in the movie, it really is just a background prop, right? It's like this background behind Mahershala, so it doesn't really mean much. But where do you think we are going? So far, we don't know what this island is, but we know they're going to an island. And in the very first description, they called it the island, which made me, the way I read that is, the island, the original Jurassic Park island. But I don't think we're going back there. I don't know.
Well, it's set 5 years after the Dominion, so I doubt they could go back to Nublar.
Yeah, that's all staying over.
A little burnt to the ground, but
Yeah.
A little crispy.
But I mean, Sauna is, it's still, I guess, like, could be the island. Where do we think we're going? Is this a brand new location?
Yeah, that Manticorp Island.
What I'll say is that I think we're like that synopsis said the island, but now with this new synopsis, it kind of seems like we're going to be going to more than one place, more than one island to track down a land dinosaur, a sea dinosaur, marine
You
reptile.
think so? You don't think it's the whole movie is going to be isolated to one location?
I think big chunks will be isolated to certain locations, but the whole we have to get samples thing makes me think that they're gonna have to go to more than one place. Let's say, like even if it's just 2 places, maybe or something. But
I mean, I think that synopsis kind of quite easily distinguishes it as like three separate places. Like they have to collect the DNA from like the colossal dinosaur from each different environment, and there's three different ones. That always led to me to believe in that there's going to be at least three different big locations that they go to.
Yeah. And when I was reading that synopsis, that's why, I mean, I know biosphere is a word that makes sense there, but like with all the manticore stuff, I was like, oh, they used the word biosphere. That's interesting. But maybe like the first two out of the three that they need to get go smoothly, and then the last one is the most difficult or something, and it's in this interesting place, and we have to go into some temple ruins. Maybe the location that we spend the most time at is like the last one we have to go to because it's the most difficult, or there's something in the story there.
And that's where the secret is, Caleb.
I know. The
Secret of the hidden temple.
Of the hidden
Yeah,
temple.
really.
Oh, that makes me so excited for David Kep secrets in a hidden temple.
See, I definitely read the synopsis as one location. It's like they're going to one location. The three most colossal creatures within that tropical biosphere hold.
That's true. I mean,
I read it as one. They're going there, and that's where they're going to get all three from.
There's no saying they can't find all three that they need in one place necessarily, but
no, exactly. I think the thing is, the synopsis is both gives us a lot, and it's also super vague, which is good because I don't want to know what this life-saving thing is, but it definitely is very leading. It's making us all wonder what the actual, what the story is, what the three dinosaurs are.
Yeah. Can I point something out really quick?
No.
And we don't know this. We don't know this 100% yet, but I just want to point out that we're probably not going back to a park. Like, there's probably not going to be another park here. Like, and I think that's something that people can be happy about. But yeah, I don't know. I thought of that and I was like, we're not going back to a park. But yeah,
well,
Corey just pumped his fists in the air. So
as I'm wearing the park shirt, but
it was a direct jab.
Yeah, I'm wearing a park shirt too.
At least it's not like they're building another theme park with dinosaurs. Like
that's what I mean. Yeah.
And it's Aztec themed.
And I feel like I feel like that's what the general public assume it is, though. Like, because I like when I posted about it yesterday, people were commenting like, "Oh, just put the series to bed. What more could they do?" Which is kind of like the fault of Dominion's marketing, saying "end of" and stuff like that.
It's always a valid argument with sequels, though. Like what. It is you are always going to end up with the same trope of people having to run away from dinosaurs because at the end of the day, that's like the movie.
What Jurassic is.
It's just how it's told, isn't it? It's how a story is told and how important the characters become to you as an audience member. I think that's what's important about it.
I just feel like the marketing for Dominion kind of not like hinders this new movie, but majority of the general public are going to be like, well, I thought the end of the Jurassic series was Dominion because they kept saying end of.
That's the danger. Yeah.
So like with us, like actual fans, like we know it wasn't the end and stuff like that. But the general audience of just people that just see movies like on an ad or whatever, they're gonna complain, be like, "Well, you just said it was like you just marketed this as the end of this."
So we were discussing this, weren't we, in the chat the other day? We were saying about how they need to sort of make people the general audience more aware of this movie sooner rather than later, and then this drops. Obviously, there's somebody in the chat that's at Universal, but it does. I think it is the right time to start talking about the movie, and I think in this plot synopsis, they don't just give us plot information; they reveal all the crew and cast, all the cast and some of the crew, but they're basically saying. Like, it's not a retcon, but they're basically saying, like, after what happened at the last movie, loads of stuff has changed, and now it's a different world again. And I think they did that. That's like the first thing we've heard from Universal about this movie, officially. So it's an interesting move. I think that in a way they know they have to truly justify this movie's existence to the general audience who did just watch a year's worth of marketing telling them it's the end of Jurassic.
Yeah.
It was a ploy. It was a ploy to get people to buy tickets.
Yeah.
Get over that billion mark.
I don't think the general audience honestly cares or pays that much attention who's going to remember any of
I-
that marketing.
Yeah, I do think the general audience, once they sit down in the theater and they see a dinosaur action movie, don't quote me on that, but like what I'm trying to say is, once they sit down and they watch a entertaining movie, like they're gonna be like, all right, Jurassic. But
Yeah, no, that I hope it's like that. It's just like
Yeah.
from what I saw yesterday with some reactions towards my content and even like reading some of the comments and stuff like that under the official posts and stuff like that. I know it's the internet, people complain, but like, yeah, it just made my brain think that way, especially after what Caleb said when they're like, "Oh yeah, they're not going back to a park." I'm like, "Oh yeah, they're really not."
yeah,
I always find that argument really funny that when people I think it's come up a few times now, but when people are like, "How have they done 6 parks? Like what?
Yeah.
Like how have they opened 6 dinosaur parks?" I love that. I love playing into that. Like Rebirth is the
For-
7th Jurassic Park. they've
for
built.
for what it's worth, like people have been saying, why are they making more Jurassic movies? People have been saying that since like Jurassic Park 3. But
Yeah, 100%. Well, they've been saying it since the second.
probably.
I mean, they say that about any sequel, honestly, of any franchise.
I
so.
saw a tweet, another opinion on the whole news yesterday that was like, and I don't agree with this, but I just thought it was funny because a couple of you are gonna agree with it. But he said it's fun. Like after he saw the Rebirth news, clearly in response to it, was like, after all this time, Jurassic Park 3 is still the best movie outside of the original.
I saw that tweet and almost replied to him, and I was like, "Hang on, hold on."
Hang on.
But I can't argue with it. You know, I can't argue with a JP3 fan. I can't. You just
No,
can't do it.
we can't.
Uh,
Also, still the only one with a numbered title.
yeah,
It's true.
that's true. Until we get the real Jurassic Park 4 and they call it as such. They just released Jurassic Park 4.
Well, Caleb, you could say that it's not a number title; it's just a claw scratch, and maybe they're just getting better at writing letters now instead of numbers.
Oh yeah,
Jurassic Park, Rebirth.
they learned
Dinosaurs are learning.
they
Yeah.
learned how to open doors. They slowly learned how to write, and
And they're
then
learning Roman numerals.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting point, right? Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, Rebirth. What do we think of the title? I kind of was hoping that we knew that Rebirth because of the domain names and stuff, but I was hoping they would go with just Rebirth and then a Jurassic World story or something like that, just to make it feel like something different. What do we think to Jurassic World Rebirth?
Rebirth.
I wish they had done something different besides Jurassic World. I wish that not that I want them to go on this whole new trilogy trajectory, but if we follow like the naming conventions, we get 3 movies with Jurassic Park, 3 movies with Jurassic World. Let's give us a Jurassic. Jurassic Planet sounds kind of dumb, but something that like maybe something that gives us a little bit more like grounded, because everybody's going to have assumptions with it if you stick with the Jurassic World title, where it sounds like how this is shaping up. It's going to be something completely different than what we've seen for a long time. So I would have liked to see it have something kind of like a fresh title to it, that was still in the Jurassic kind of line. But we'll see. It could end up being good.
I think that's what's really difficult about it is how, like, what other names could you really give it other than Jurassic something? And then what other names like Jurassic Earth, Jurassic Land, Jurassic
Right.
something? I think it had to be like the Ancient Future. Ancient Future was Fallen Kingdom's working title.
Yeah.
And I love that as a title, like the Ancient Future.
Yeah.
Jurassic World subtitle or something.
And weirdly, that title kind of might make sense for Rebirth with all these ancient ruins and stuff.
Yeah.
And honestly, for the general public, Jurassic World, no locusts this time probably would have worked.
Yeah. Human clones.
Yeah.
Although let's talk about it, right? In the synopsis they talk about how Scarlett Johansson's mission, Zora's mission, is top secret, right? Ooh, super secret. But they also say how there's what do they say? Something that's been kept hidden.
A sinister
Sinister,
shocking discovery that's been hidden from the world for
Whoa.
decades.
What do we think it is? Is it the Jurassic Park 4 John Sayles script?
Yes.
Die
That's
off?
exactly what it is.
The Jurassic Park 4 John Sayles script. That's what it is.
That's
just the
script.
script.
Yeah, in the Aztec temple.
I do think the sinister discovery is whatever we discover in the temple. It just seems like we're leading that way, I feel, and that excites me. I can't wait for whatever that is. I feel like there's a chance it's going to be really weird, but yeah.
Yeah, it's very like Indiana Jones, Tomb
Yeah,
Raider
it is.
kind of vibes, and I dig that.
We're stranded they all find themselves stranded on an island where they come face to face with a sinister, shocking discovery that's been hidden from the world for decades. Do we think that because of what Jurassic World established with Maisie and everything, do we think they're going down a rabbit hole of human cloning? And what's the secret shocking discovery? Maybe it's the Dinosaurs. Maybe it's the crossbreed of humans, dinosaurs. Is that a shocking, sinister discovery that's been kept from the world for decades enough, or is I don't know. It's very open.
It could be anything.
I mean, personally, I think it would be fun to see some failed, hear me out specifically, failed human cloning, whatever experience. I think that would be a fun thing to see because a genetics company is always going to go there eventually.
Like in the test tube kind of
Right.
vibe.
I don't think we need to see any live ones.
So you want to see like the clone room from Alien Resurrection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it would be maybe in the style of the embryo facility from Jurassic Park 3, like something like that. Like, I get chills just thinking about that scene because the music is perfect and it's just like haunting and scary and
Sinister.
you see, that's what I was gonna say is like the word sinister is what really makes me wonder if they're gonna do since they're saying the word sinister, I feel like they're not gonna tie it to Maisie because
she's actually evil.
while the actions there weren't necessarily ethical, I don't Maisie doesn't necessarily have a sinister vibe, but I don't know.
Maybe she does now. It's been 5 years, Kayla.
Debatable, yeah.
Maybe she's out for revenge. They're
alive.
alive.
To her.
They're alive
Love that.
me, but I don't want them
Support
to
a girl's
be.
wrongs.
Do you think they tie it to biosyn? Because if we go back to, I'm trying to think in Kep's mindset here, because Kep is OG Jurassic Park, and obviously has read both books several times.
Our Lord and Savior David.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if he tries to get away from kind of the biosyn we see in Dominion, that on its face kind of seems a little bit more just more of a corporate entity and less of an international espionage kind of thing that we saw in the first two books.
Yeah.
If he tries to say that, oh, this is a biosyn sinister secret, if we try to go back there,
I'm in. In Dominion, Ramsey talks about how biosyn is buying up amber deposits. So maybe there's an amber there, or there was an amber deposit under this ancient temple, these ruins or something, and biosyn came in there and did a lot of evil shit to get it and with it, and then left it for 30 years or something.
Yeah, but what if while they were digging? Yes.
hey.
Assis is here. Jack's prophecy came true.
I'm not muted. Welcome. General podcast.
Yes.
Man the myth.
Fresh.
Sorry to
now we can really get into it. Whoa, okay. So welcome, Assis. I don't know if you've seen the news, but there's a plot synopsis now for Jurassic World Revealed. There's 2 new images.
Jurassic World Rebirth.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Revealed.
Revealed. You said it at the beginning as well, but I didn't want to like say anything and ruin the intro. So
Jaden and I heard it.
yeah, I was like,
Well, you know, anyway.
Jack, you were about to say something about
the sinister, shocking discovery. So that amber deposit, like amber mine, that makes sense, right? But what if this sinister, shocking discovery has got nothing to do with dinosaurs at all, and it's trying to be kept secret on this island? Something much more mysterious and scarier and weirder, and it's got nothing to do with dinosaurs. What would we think to that?
I think that's
dinosaurs throughout the movie.
yeah.
That sounds great to me.
Yeah, because I don't
I
think
think-
like finding another dinosaur can be that sinister because you're like, oh,
Yeah.
it's just another
No.
dinosaur. So it has to be something.
But then
like
it can't
that.
be something like the way the fourth Indiana Jones, like people were put off by it's aliens. You know what I mean? Like
I don't think it's going to be aliens, though.
no. But what could it be?
I think it. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say quickly, like something there. You said like it's not that scary to discover a dinosaur, but like maybe something they were doing with the dinosaurs, or like something they were extracting from the dinosaurs and using.
Sure.
What were you going to say, Sam?
Oh, I was saying, going back to like cold storage with what Kep has in there, where it's like, you know, something that was made years ago was hidden in a place where they think no one is ever going to discover it, and then oops, we did, and it affected the environment. Same kind of thing with Eruption, the new Michael Crichton book. Like there's a thing in there that was hidden years ago and now is going to cause a whole bunch of problems. So I think something maybe more on the, you know, experimental, like biochemical, and it's not like a hidden dinosaur, like Jaden was saying.
Do we think?
but you think it's something that's like maybe this is hidden. It's been people have hidden it in a temple to keep it secret from the rest of the world. Is that what we're?
Yeah, just like, oh, this is you know, we don't want people to find out that we were experimenting on some weird chemical that's gonna wipe out the entire planet.
Yeah,
Let's hide it in this location that's abandoned.
The hidden for decades thing tells me that like somebody still knows about it, probably. So
how did Miss Ronnie and all those guys not know about this? Is this even hidden from John Hammond? Because is this just introducing another like?
we don't know that
Benjamin Lockwood?
we don't know that the secret is an InGen thing necessarily.
Yeah.
Oh.
We were kind of talking about that, like how Biosyn or something else, or
But then we do know that the island that they're on, or at least Mahershala's on, is, or at least at some point was owned by InGen, right? Whether maybe
Yes.
InGen were keeping whatever this secret was. Yeah, I don't know.
It could be somehow related to the dad too of the family, and that could help bring them together. Of like, I don't know if it is like a chemical or something. Like maybe he knows something about the past history of blah 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 blah. I don't know.
He's supposed to
But
take his family on vacation, so why not bring him to the hidden temple where the deadly chemical is?
he didn't intend to crash there.
I think the big pharma guy will know more than he's letting on.
So I was thinking about this last night because it's all I think about when I go to sleep in Jurassic.
It's okay, you're not alone.
Oh yeah, I'm in good company here, guys. If it was why is it top secret? If it was like some sort of global pandemic issue type DX thing, you know what I mean? Like if it was like a really a pressing issue, would it not be a known mission? Why is it top secret? You know what I mean? So it's making me think this is more of like not along the lines of like militarized dinosaurs, but like using the dinosaurs for something. That's the sinister thing. Maybe they've like figured out how to like make a dinosaur human dog, or I don't know. You know what I mean? Like something like that. I'm not gonna let that go, by the way, guys. I want dino human
Do
dogs.
we? I lost my train of thought. Someone else.
Well, I was going to say, in this whole synopsis, there is such an underlying, for me, when I read it, there's an underlying tone of like, something's happening in the world, maybe, or there is a threat that isn't dinosaurs to the world. And part of this is, I mean, they talk about how this mission is to, I'm just trying to find the right words, that could save, what's it? Say save the world or something? Saving the three most colossal creatures within that tropical biome hold the key to a drug that will bring miraculous life-saving benefits to humankind. So do we think that's just the big pharma guy, whoever Martin Krebs plays, is just like, oh, trust us, this will be amazing, this will be this fantastic new thing? Or are they trying to save humanity? Are we going that deep with it?
What if they're trying to save humanity, but in the world 5 years after Dominion, there are laws against getting too close to dinosaurs, etc., or since they're in isolated environments, etc., like, or maybe in the vein of the DPG or something, like maybe some people know that the dinosaurs can fix whatever issue we're trying to fix, but like there's backlash against it because we don't want to do this to the dinosaurs. We don't want to disturb them or affect their environment or whatever the reasoning might be. Like, so then that's why the mission is top secret, so that we can, because technically maybe we're breaking the law or something, but
That's
I don't know.
fair. I kind of get, when I read that, the first thing that my head went to was the second Anaconda movie.
Yep.
Like the
Yep.
Thor
Oh
kid.
my god.
And
I have
was
not
like,
seen this movie.
to me, it's
Enlighten me.
almost the same
You
plot.
haven't
like,
seen it?
I haven't seen the second one.
it's
Need to
like
watch
a
it.
pharmaceutical company that's going to find this flower that is like
Yes.
The
immortality.
blood orchid.
Yeah, and so I'm like, wow, that
Why does
like
Samantha
kind of
know that
sounds
like
really
off
similar.
the top of her head? When's the last time you saw Anaconda 2? Like last night? What are you doing?
No.
Yes, it's on my nightly repeat watch. I watched Jurassic Park 3 and then Anaconda 2.
Oh, is that a
Yeah,
Scarlett
right to the
Johansson
bed.
hat?
What?
Is that a ScarJo hat? Like Black Widow?
Yeah, it's
Widow.
Black
Ah,
Widow.
nice.
Oh
Hell yeah.
wow, very on brand.
Had
Our
to.
theme.
How about this cast?
No, wait. Actually, no, wait. Speaking of cast, I don't want to give this up yet because I just thought, you know how like, I don't know if you guys have already talked about this, but like I was talking about in the chat with you guys, the fact that InGen is going back to get DNA, you would think they would have what they need from previous dinosaurs, but because it's so obvious, right? And we have a guy who's playing a big pharma rep in Martin Krebs or whatever, right? The fact that it's such an obvious reason to go back to the island that I'm thinking like you should already have that, right? The fact that we have maybe a secret, maybe that's what he actually wants, and then this fact that we can get like a drug thing to like save
Mhm.
humanity is just like a front. You know what I mean? Like
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
yeah, that's what
Personally, I
I
don't
think
think it's InGen. I don't think InGen are
Yeah.
characters. I don't think they're connected. I don't think InGen have
Yeah, no
anything to
InGen
do-
here. It's
I think we're
it's
just
all
going
the
to an
past.
InGen place.
We're going to
probably.
like an older bandit, yeah. But that's the thing as well, that we've all seen their vehicle picture. We've seen the boats. We know that whatever they're going to, this facility has operational vehicles and things like that. Unless all of those vehicles were brought in specifically for this task.
Or they're in a different location from the InGen stuff.
All those are a
Mhm.
different, location. But we
I
know
mean-
that the vehicle had an InGen logo on it. The vehicle had a Jurassic icon on it.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that maybe that was part of a facility. There's always people have been wondering if maybe this island is an abandoned Jurassic Park resort, an original old one, or an abandoned Jurassic World resort that never opened to the public but was being built on a different island across the world somewhere, right?
That would be
like
so cool.
Like the hidden adventure.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but on a completely different place. in the
Yeah,
world.
no, but as an example,
Mhm.
But weren't they? Isn't there documentation online and on the Jurassic World website, Mizrani as well? Weren't they building Jurassic Worlds elsewhere? Wasn't that part?
Yeah,
wasn't that part
they
of the
were
lore?
they were planning other locations. Yeah.
Yeah. So what if this is like one of those locations too? It's just those vehicles that make me think that really.
Come to this, you don't want to go to the
Oh.
Jurassic World Park. You come to the Jurassic World Resort, where it's like just like
can
a
hunt dinosaurs.
relaxation place with dinosaurs.
If it is a resort, I'm just thinking now, you know how Jurassic World had its like big pop, as in the Indominus Rex, right? You know how like Wu was working on it in Jurassic World itself. He wasn't like on a separate island, from what I know,
This
right?
is the Jurassic World Site B.
Yeah, like there's no Site B for Jurassic World, right? So what if this was like Jurassic Resorts?
I mean,
Like, what's the
Site
cheap-
B was Site B for Jurassic World for a little
Sure,
bit.
but like you know
but-
what I mean though. Like
I know
it
what
didn't
you
have
mean.
like a breeding ground for its own things. But like oh shit, I lost my train of thought. It was so good, guys. Damn it.
No, you were saying that Wu worked
Okay,
on
yes.
the Indominus.
So Jurassic World's chief like science guy was Wu. He was making the Indominus. What if Jurassic Resort's chief science person was making
Who knows
their
what?
own like big pop? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if the park is far enough along that they have like the infrastructure in place, like the boating stuff, like the rescue points, the park vehicles in place, you have to assume they're pretty far along in development, right? They have dinosaurs in place. So it's not out of the question to assume that they're like the resort's chief geneticist made something. Maybe that's what Krebs.
Maybe the resort is still functioning, and that's the secret. And it's this place where rich people go to break the law and hunt
But
dinosaurs.
it can't be Jurassic World though, because
Ooh.
it's been there for 20 years.
Maybe this abandoned Jurassic World that was, or maybe it's an abandoned Jurassic Park that was run by InGen has been taken over by people that are now running this dark, sinister, shocking thing where rich
Dark
people
Jurassic.
go to an island, and literally they let the Spino out so people can hunt it, right?
That's
I just wanna say,
insane.
this is like
Oh
a
my
peak
god.
of Jurassic
You're not
Park
nerfing my
3,
boy
man.
like
I
that.
love this.
What's
that sounds like
film?
fun.
The Hunt, where they drop a bunch of people into
Yeah.
an environment and it's all sort of sectioned off and they can
Hunger Games.
Yeah, the
rich
Hunger
people
Games.
hunt them.
No, there's one
Hey, that's appropriate though. It's the dinosaur Hunger
I
Games.
mean, the Hunger Games has the like biome thing too, so
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
does. No, I mean literally the Hunt, right, where rich people pay to hunt
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Sorry,
movie
I
was
being a
wild.
it's been
dickhead.
done a few times. Yeah.
That movie was fun.
Yeah.
But-
I don't want to talk about that movie. That movie is nuts.
Yeah, but that concept we've talked about on podcasts before. What if it's like, what do they call it? Dark tourism, that kind of thing,
Mhm.
and you know, something that could be the sinister secret. I think we read it as it's a physical thing, but they come face to face with a reptilian dinosaur thing, right? That's a daihuog. But it could be literally, it could be what the island is. You're right. It could be like that. It's an operational.
But then where do the ruins come in though? But
They
I
just
don't
happen
know.
to be there. You think?
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks cool. We could sell some
Yeah.
cool things.
But we've
Looks
got
really cool.
we've
Yeah.
got like 2+ dedicated set builds for it. It's got to be
Something's in that mouth. No, you guys think?
something's in the deep recesses of the temple, I think. But
Yeah,
One of
because
those
didn't we see the
call-ups,
stunt guy like rappelling off?
He's walking.
and
edge.
did you notice that
it
stunt
was-
guy was wearing a similar shirt to the one Jonathan Bailey is
Yeah, he
wearing in
was.
that
Uh-huh.
photo they released?
Plaid
You guys
shirt.
talk about Jonathan Bailey yet? How dope and like the. Did we talk about the?
We
cast
haven't
at all
really
yet?
gotten into the cast
Haven't
too
really,
much
no.
yet.
Okay, good. I'll save.
I've been
it then.
holding it in.
But we can.
Let's do it.
Assis,
Let's talk Jonathan Bailey. The first thing I know
Segue.
is-
yeah.
Oh, but Caleb, what were you gonna say though?
Oh, I was just gonna say your point about the DNA, about how it might be a lie from the pharmaceutical guy or something. I think that's a really good point.
That checks out. Yeah.
I mean, like he seems like a almost. I don't want to say carbon copy because we don't know anything about the character, but he almost seems like the Burke from Aliens. You know what I mean? Like you have the military guys, you got the survivor or the expert in Ripley, and then you have the pharma guy or the company man. You
He's
know what
the
I mean? It
Ludlow.
just seems like it's just like you have to assume he has an ulterior motive just because of
I mean, he's big
what we know.
pharma.
no one in pharma is
Yeah,
good, guys.
classically
Come
the
on.
good guys.
Pharma's bad.
Always rooting for them.
Yeah.
Okay, cast.
it's such an impressive cast, really. It's not like a huge list of names, but they're all so talented. I can't wait to see them all together on
I
screen.
think it's special. It's a special
Mhm.
cast. It took a while to
Absolutely.
grow on me, but when you think about it, like they're all really solid actors. I don't know too much about like the kids in the family and the new like Philippine Velga or Velge. I don't know too much about them, but apparently they're good. So this cast seems like they went for talent instead of the original approach of what they were looking at. Jennifer Lawrence, she's talented, but she's a huge name. Glenn Powell's blowing up. That's like a Chris
Yeah.
Pratt situation. Like they went a very almost Jurassic Park, The Lost World route in selecting very strong character actors, and that's very exciting for me.
We were talking about how general audiences are receiving things and how they're going to receive this and stuff. I think the cast is maybe this movie's biggest bargaining chip.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you see ScarJo,
Mhm.
Mahershala Ali on the billing, it's like there's no way these Oscar nominated and winners are gonna just
Yeah.
do the 7th movie in a franchise. You know what I mean? Just because a paycheck? Like, no, that's not how it works. There's got to be something behind the scenes that like really kind of got them excited for this project.
Two-time
you're
Oscar
gonna
winner
be
Mahershala
excited.
Ali, I feel like he's not going to do just anything.
No, he's
Like-
good in everything. Like, if you go back to Predators in 2010, he was in
So
that
good.
movie as just like a side guy. great.
But
You
he's great,
Love him.
yeah.
You love him and Walton Goggins. They're amazing together.
Well, weren't they saying that at the start as well? Like when we first started hearing about Scarlett Johansson, we always heard that she wasn't gonna take this if it was like shit, pretty much. And they always kept reiterating that it's good, that's why she's doing it. It's good. And
Mhm.
they've kept proving that time after time,
She-
and especially now.
I think she said in an interview herself, she's at a point in her career where she can pick and choose, and she does pick and choose because time with her family is more important than, spending months. If she spends months away filming, she wants it to be meaningful. And I think that in itself is like, okay, Jurassic Park 7 is
It's
clearly
meaningful.
there's something good there.
And she keeps
Especially with-
mentioning Cap too, so Cap has got to be a draw here. Like, there's
They
got to
all
be
mention
something with
Cap.
this script.
I love
dude.
it.
There's got to
Cap.
be something.
Guy who wrote the first two. Yeah.
They're really pushing that too. Like the original
Yeah.
writers back. They're really pushing that Universal is.
Yeah.
Which I think is part of the quote unquote damage control.
Honestly,
Because a
it's
lot of
very
the
fitting with the title.
critique-
It's like a rebirth.
moving forward and
Yeah.
away from Dominion. Yeah.
But mentioning
Yeah.
Kep, a critique of the last trilogy was arguably like the writing was always something that comes up in critical reviews. So it's really pushing the Kep thing. Everyone's like, "Oh, he wrote the first one. The first one was really good." It kind of gets that conversation going again. I think it's yeah,
That second one was a masterpiece too.
100% better than the first.
Agreed.
Okay, so let's talk about we want to talk about cast, but Jonathan Bailey. The first thing I noticed was his shirt in that picture is very similar to Grant's shirt. We can't see much of it, but it looks like Grant's shirt in JP3.
Mm-hmm.
Disgusting.
I don't know how you noticed the shirt. The first thing I noticed, aside from his like striking face, like he has a very friendly face. There's something about it. I just want to have a beer with the guy. You know what
He's
I mean?
he's a beautiful man.
The second
Yeah,
thing,
he
though,
is.
look at his forearms.
Yes,
Holy
thank you.
moly.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my god, the
veins.
veins. dude.
Hey, he posted that workout picture. Remember?
Yeah, I hope he
he's-
takes
oh,
his shirt
yeah.
off in this movie. Not
This
gonna
guy's
lie.
ripped. I'm
He's been
very
posting
excited.
a lot.
Hey, I'm in for the muscular paleontologist guy. Let's do it.
Also, can I just quickly touch on this? The internet backlash and quote unquote about having
He's
hot
too buff?
leads and like too buff. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
this guy's he's
Ev-
just fit
hey.
as shit.
I've got news for the internet. Pretty much every Jurassic movie has had hot leads. So
Also, it's not weird to work out. It's like it's a good thing.
exactly.
That's all I have to say. It's good for you.
Very healthy, normal thing.
You're telling
yeah.
me you looked back at a movie with Jeff Goldblum in the 90s and said it didn't have a hot lead? Like
Also, yeah, Jeff Goldblum was like very, very sexy for the time, like ridiculous.
yeah.
Icon.
He's still an icon.
Yeah.
And you say for the time as if he still is.
Exactly.
That man is. I gotta find out what he's drinking, what he's eating, because he's aging like fine wine.
Maybe in the temple it's Jeff Goldblum, and like he has a de-aging serum from the dinosaurs that makes
That's
him
the
look
secret.
good. And that's
He's
the
one of those
secret.
de-aging
And he's
fools.
laying there with his shirt, with his like chest out, and he's like, "I've been expecting you."
So
And that's the
Come
movie.
join me.
I had the thought like, the synopsis describes it as sinister, but I was like, what if we find Dr. Grant aged 70 living on this island studying dinosaurs?
Just like a hermit. Goes
Yeah.
hermit mode.
Honestly, at this point, anything from the past is in play. I think, right? Like it has to be.
Mhm.
Any past idea has got to be. Like I wouldn't be surprised if in that cave is like Dr. Harding. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised.
That's where
Bring
she
Jerry
went.
back. Justice for Jerry.
Listen, the person we need to bring back is Sarah Harding, but
Too true.
Sarah Harding.
Do you guys think there's gonna be a romance between these two characters?
I don't think so.
I don't get
Eh.
the
don't know.
vibe that there's too much opportunity for it, but
Okay, fair
Maybe
enough.
as much as there is between like Grant and Sattler in the first movie. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of
Between-
undertones, but it's not overt.
yeah,
Like-
between like there might be some sexual tension between like ScarJo and Jonathan Bailey or something.
Everyone.
Between everybody, yeah.
I
Between
didn't
the
expect
screen and
Jonathan
me.
Bailey to be like the male lead of this movie. Like he seems to be the male lead, right?
Can I just say how
I'm very excited about that.
fantastic it is that like an up and coming star like Jonathan Bailey is playing a paleontologist character?
Yes, we didn't even touch on that.
in the next Jurassic World movie. Like that's so awesome, and it
He's a
makes me
nerd.
excited because like this
Hot nerds,
this
dude.
top secret mission was obviously like we need to bring in a paleontologist so that we don't get fucking killed. Probably.
How's
So
that going?
are y'all happy about a paleontologist being back?
Absolutely.
Yes. It's
It's
smart.
something that's been sorely lacking from the movies. And you know what that tells me as well? There's going to be a focus in science and not just the background, but in some of the more, I guess, important dialogue that the main character will be spitting from his mouth.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a signal that, yeah, we understand that Jurassic World is not just about like park directors and like action Navy guys. It's like it's about the scientists. And that's a very important part of Jurassic Park's success. And the fact that they're finally recognizing this, or it's Cap, so of course
It's
he
Cap.
knows. Yeah,
Yeah.
he knows this. So the fact that that's the lead character in the movie is very exciting for me.
Even
It's
the
like, it's
synopsis
very important.
even the synopsis gave me the vibe of we're focusing on science a little bit more here. At least
You
a little
almost
bit.
have to with the fact that they're using terms like equatorial. It's not a $5 word, but
Exactly.
it's not a bargain bin word. You know what I mean? That's
Exactly.
like a Corey, you're a lawyer. You know what I mean? That's pretty,
I would classify that as almost legal jargon. So yeah, just
oh,
There
there
we
we go.
And
$4.
biosphere.
yeah.
Biosphere. Yeah, this.
All I
The
know is that was
potential
too
for
much of a
science
big
is
word for
ridiculous
me.
here. I'm very excited to see a scientific, and we know that Kep can write the science, so it's not like, oh, is it like a unknown guy who's just gonna do like surface level pretend science, like we were kind of talking about in the chat. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be a guy who knows the Jurassic science, which is like, yes, finally.
Science.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if his character is kind of be a self-insert for all of us Jurassic fans in a little bit of a way, because Jonathan Bailey is my age. He's in his 30s, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah, he's our
he
age, yeah.
he
Our
technically
age, yeah.
would have like
Yeah, we're all 30, I think, except Jade.
millennials, what's up? But he would have grown up like the same, times
Oh,
like
that's true.
Jurassic Park was
Yeah.
starting. He would have gotten like interested in dinosaurs because of Jurassic Park in world. And like so many of the fans have become paleontologists or archaeologists or something, dinosaur
Yeah.
related science fields because of the movies. So I'm wondering if he's kind of like that's how he got into it or
He
something.
became a paleontologist because of Park and World. That's
I think it'd be
that's
kind of
something.
fun.
Like the San Diego incident was like, oh shit, there's a dinosaur. I want to do that. You know what I mean? Like,
Imagine
Yeah.
I see myself in that spot. Like, oh my god, mom, there's a T-Rex. Like,
imagine the
Exactly.
lore is he's from San Diego or something, and he was a kid when that happened or something.
that type of juicy.
He was the
detail.
kid that
He's
dog
the
got
kid.
eaten.
Oh,
That's Dr. Henry
wow.
Loomis.
Yeah, we thought Chris Pratt was the
Mind-blowing.
kid from Jurassic Park. Now Jonathan
The
Bailey is the
turkey.
kid from The Lost World.
Yeah.
Do we know Gareth Edwards' stance on The Lost World versus JP3?
No, we'll get on the next episode though. We'll try to figure it out.
Hey, I
Call him up.
was gonna ask maybe more to Sam and Corey, and we're gonna have a whole cold storage podcast later. But we were talking about cold storage a minute ago. And with like this sinister discovery that's been hidden for decades, literally in the synopsis for the movie now, like, do you think somebody at Universal like saw cold storage? Do you think Spielberg read cold storage and was like, "Hey, David, can you write me a Jurassic like this?" Like,
Yes.
do you think, like, in all seriousness, do you think
Aziz is
cold
listening.
storage is an influence here?
It's got to be on some
I think
level.
so.
Yeah.
If it's not just in Kep's writing, like studio side, I would hope so, because it's such a good book that it would be crazy for them to like just cast it aside and not take any influence from it.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I don't want it to be too pulled from that. This is separate than the cold storage. So
Yeah.
but like certainly the vibe of cold storage, I
No
really
spoilers,
hope we get
please.
to
I
see
just
it.
started.
Yeah, no spoilers.
No spoilers.
Dude, I'm so pumped about this. I was listening in the gym, and it was like, this feels like Cap dialogue almost in a way. In a way, I'm like, this is like the way it flows in your ear. I'm like, oh god, it's like music.
Mhm.
How far in are you?
Chapter 2.
Okay.
Literally the start.
I can't wait. That was the whole point of the cold storage pod. It was kind of like you guys trying to say how we'll do it, but
Yeah, we'll go into depth.
how it will could affect it. I actually read something about. I have something pulled up about David Kep. Somebody on Reddit was talking about He was watching a couple of David Koepp interviews recently, and in all of them, he describes about a script writing style and the bottle method he uses to tell a story to get the full creative explosion of ideas. He says the world is too big and choices are too fast. Movies thrive on something that's constrained. If it takes place in a limited time, limited place, and if there's only 3 characters in the whole movie, all those kind of limitations often lead to great explosion of creative ideas because your storytelling mind is trying to solve these problems within some very specific limits. I just thrive on that method and it's energizing for me.
I mean, he
That-
definitely
Come on.
writes that way. I mean, I just watched Panic Room like a couple weeks ago, and that is
Yeah, he wrote
that
that.
is so bottlenecked. Like that is honestly the most
Mhm.
bottlenecked you could be, a single room.
Yeah.
The way he's
Yeah.
talking about like his script writing method, it seems on paper already to be very Jurassic World Rebirth. Like limited amount of characters. It's like it seems like 3 people, small groups on the island, a family group on the island. You know what I mean? Like very small groups. It's like I can't wait that David Koepp will be writing intricate dialogue between Mahershala Ali as a team leader and like ScarJo and dude,
Yeah.
it's a good thing. We're in a good place now as a Jurassic community. I think we're in like
We're
a good
eating.
spot where things are happening, and like things are happening. It seems like with the proper intent, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It does. I know what you mean. It feels different again.
They're
than
taking
it
their
did.
time with shit and like making sure it's done properly. Yeah, that's the feel
But
I
at the
get from
same
everything.
time, like crazy fast schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, I
it feels
read
good.
something
It feels good.
talking about Mahershala. I read a tweet the other day that someone said we have our first picture of Mahershala in a role that was announced 5 years after he was announced to be in Blade or something like that. And like we have the
Yes.
first picture of this
Yeah.
new role, and it made me read a little about the whole Blade thing. That's crazy. That is so crazy that he was announced for that.
I
So
thought about
long
that the
ago.
other day because his agent was probably like, "Hey, you want to go with all this Blade bullshit? You want to go do something fun? I've got Jurassic for you."
I'm telling you, ScarJo was like, "Come with me over here for
Man,
dinosaurs."
wasn't he announced at the Comic Con that we went to, the first one?
It was
Uh-huh.
5 years ago he was
Yeah.
announced.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah,
I mean, that's
2019
crazy.
or something.
Yeah.
Whoa, that is crazy.
I know we're talking about cast, but I just wanted to quickly say like the fact that Jurassic seems to be getting it right now in this specific point in time is very exciting because MCU is kind of in a
And
weird spot.
Deadpool's where it's the low point.
Yeah, it's in a low point, sure. And then Star Wars, I think we can all argue is in a weird spot, low point too, right? Jurassic seems to be hitting its stride just when the 2 other major players are dropping down a bit. I think Jurassic
That's
is
true.
primed to explode to another level we've never seen before. If his next movie hits, at least.
If it hits, and it depends if it's being sold as a trilogy or not. We were having that discussion the other day too, and I wonder if it's going to really lead itself to be like there's going to be another one in a couple years, or if it's going to feel like a standalone or just a movie that kind of ends, and then it's like obviously there are things that could be set up, but I do hope that going into it, it does feel again like a bit of like a stand-up, as much as a standalone as it can feel for the 7th entry in a franchise, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want it to be leading, and I don't want it to feel like it ends on a cliffhanger, like it doesn't end kind of thing, because that would be really frustrating, I think, at this point.
It's speaking of like where the Jurassic franchise is, like I think it's cool in hindsight the timing of everything now. Like we were all like, where's the logo? Where's the title?
Legit last week.
Yeah. But like, so we've got Jurassic World Rebirth, basically big full announcement here at the end of August. Probably won't be anything super large for a little bit, and to allow like Chaos Theory is about to get ramped up again and be in October, and then probably like teaser for Rebirth November. So like we're alternating months with tons of Jurassic stuff at the moment. But
yeah, it's exciting. The one other thing I wanted to bring up in the synopsis, it says about the 3 most colossal creatures. So what are these 3 most colossal creatures? Somebody tell me.
Titanosaurus, Quetzalcoatlus, Mosasaurus. Also, this is the one
supposedly.
Yeah, okay,
well,
we're talking
it's
about
from a
Those
that.
are
very
those
legit
are
leaker though.
those are leaks, but
It's from a reputable leaker. He's been known. I remember. I think it's like "Hello, my name to shine" or something like that.
Yes, sorry,
It's
My-
something,
my
but he's like
time
a
to
legitimate
shine,
leaker.
hello.
It's like him
Yeah.
and
My
Daniel
time to
RPK are
shine.
like the big Twitter guys right now. But like he's mostly like MCU kind of stuff. But he's legit for the
So
So-
what
most
did he
part.
say? Mosasaurus, which isn't a dinosaur, right?
Titanosaurus.
Quetzalcoatlus, which is not a dinosaur.
And then Titanosaurus,
But
which is a long neck dinosaur.
we
is-
said
it's not an
land,
actual
we said
species.
land, sea, and air. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
all the elements.
I don't like this.
But hang
like,
on,
why
Assis.
why colossal?
Hang
Is
on.
it because they were like made big?
So first of all, the main, and I already told Jack this, but the main critique I have with that leak is that Titanosaurus is not a species; it's a genus.
Oops.
Got him.
And so, but don't get me wrong, they could still do a Titanosaurus and it still be sort of a conglomerate. Like we're not picking a specific species. But like, for example, Dreadnoughtus in Jurassic World Dominion is a Titanosaur.
There it is.
So
What is the biggest long neck of all time? Is it not Dreadnoughtus?
It
Or
is Dreadnoughtus.
Okay.
So I would think maybe that they haven't settled on a species yet. It's just going to be a big sauropod. But that's my 2 cents.
Which I like that they're keeping it vague, realistically.
The leaker.
Yeah, yeah. Why the fuck am I saying?
I like that the leaker's leaking stuff in a vague way.
Sorry. I don't know.
I think it's either lost in translation or they haven't picked a
Yeah.
species or
Hey,
I
but
think that
at
the
least it's
haven't
not a
picked a
carnivore.
Picked a species would be frustrating in a sense of, God damn it, they need to make these decisions before filming.
and
But-
they were probably like Titanosaurus sounds awesome. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's just call it that. The Titanosaurus. But okay, yeah, so we've got the land, air, and sea thing, which ends up sounding quite video gamey. They have to, get one from each. What do we think to that? Because obviously, again, this synopsis it tells us a lot, but it's also quite vague in the way it tells it. So, I
Mhm.
mean, do we really think it's like that kind of? I mean,
Why?
so
Do we know for sure? I mean, this is a different way of looking at it. Is that most of the dinosaurs have died out because of the environment of the Earth. They only can live in this certain environment, and they're going for this DNA to help make a drug. Maybe that the dinosaurs that survived evolved to have some sort of resiliency that they need,
Mhm.
and each dinosaur has basically the same thing. They're just going through different avenues to cover their bases.
They're going to the biggest dinosaurs because they can get the biggest samples.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Easier to
seriously. though.
find.
In deep, and people are already tying this to Deep Blue Sea, but in Deep Blue Sea, in case anyone has forgotten, they make the sharks bigger so that they can get a bigger sample from their brain.
Did they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
time to watch Deep Blue Sea again, man.
That's why
Tonight-
mako sharks aren't usually quite that big. So
Yeah.
like, yeah,
That movie is so good.
absolutely. You think man is scary? What does he say? You think water's
water
scary?
moves
You
fast?
should see ice.
You should see ice.
Oh,
I
you
think-
think,
oh
you
my
think
God.
water's fast? You should see ice.
You should see ice.
I did see that clip last night on YouTube randomly, though, which is strange.
And
Um,
then he says nature is terrifying, but it doesn't hold a candle to man.
Yeah.
And then he gets eaten.
Do we? Now that we're talking about plot, I guess. Are we up? Like, I don't know how to say this. Are we like pissed off, upset, or like meh about the fact that this seems to be like a retread of a lot of stories that we've seen, especially recently? Like Avatar 2 literally had this last year where they had to get the whale DNA, the whale alien DNA to
That's
get
that's not
anti-
untrue. Yeah.
anti-aging human thing. I
Did
mean,
not
you know what I
see
mean? Like,
that, but
So in
and then
Avatar,
capsized family. Why? Why are we seeing a capsized family? We've seen that in Jurassic Park 3
Oh,
already.
sure.
Like, why is that? Why is
Why are
that
we
a
seeing a
part of the
giant
story?
cat?
yeah, we're seeing a giant cat in front of you. Assis.
What have you done to that cat, Assis? It's huge.
Did you make it bigger
Catosaurus
so you could
Rex.
extract DNA
Oh, there's
samples?
two.
There's two cats. Yeah, they're all over my laptop. If this just like if it shuts down randomly,
Oh,
it is what it
The
is.
eye shot right
Someone
there.
else take over.
Yes.
Assis,
great.
just to briefly answer your question, and someone else, please share their opinion because mine is positive. But like, I don't know, it's a place It's a place Jurassic hasn't ever really fully gone before.
And arguably, Jurassic is the franchise to tackle this kind
Exactly,
of thing.
yeah.
It's very sciencey, human.
And I
Science.
mean, we'll see. Like, Deep Blue Sea did it. Avatar 2 did it. The thing in Avatar 2 was like a gland inside these space whales that it said it extended human lifespan to 250 years or something like that, which is crazy. I
I'm
don't
never gonna watch that movie.
I don't think
Dude, Avatar 2 is good. How dare you?
I
Was
don't
it good?
think
Was it
that
better than the first?
yeah.
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 100%.
But
I
not
don't
just
think
that-
that's
not
what-
just visuals, right? Not just like, oh, visually it was so much better.
No, I like the story too. I like
Yeah.
dude,
Okay.
I'm the wrong guy to ask. I love Avatar 1 and 2. I played the game on my Xbox. I love Avatar.
I'm with you on that, Assis. Like, I like both movies.
Thank you. Finally, someone else.
I don't think Jurassic is going the
found
whole
one.
we're gonna extend the human lifespan by
250
Not
years.
like-
lifespan, but like
I think it's
like,
something else.
Cure like a disease potentially from like the only thing I can think of is like because they're the most colossal. Maybe they weren't supposed to be colossal in the first place. The fact that they are, like, you know how we always talked about how big the mosasaur is? It's like too big almost.
Mhm.
What if they're
Yeah.
like, oh, what if they talk about in this movie, Mr. Jonathan Bailey's like, oh, also Dr. Loomis, Halloween, right?
Scream.
Scream, yeah. Loomis.
Oh, he's that. Oh yeah, but Halloween first though. Halloween, the original.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
you're
there
right.
it is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
I just
yes.
wanted to say that.
I didn't know what you were
Yeah.
talking about for a second. Yeah, you're
It
right.
was bugging
He
me.
is
It was
Dr.
bugging me. But like, what if Jonathan Bailey's talking about like, oh, this mosasaur is like 10 times this big. Quetzalcoatlus is also really big, right? Because like way too big almost as well. Like, what if they're like oversized dinosaurs playing back into the old story from Jurassic Park 4 they threw out where like the dinosaurs were growing too big? What if because they are so big they have like a specific genetic factor that like a growth hormone or something like that in their DNA that can help humans
I think
grow or something? You
I
know
think
what I mean?
that, or what Corey said about how, we've talked about how they're gonna look different or different designs, and maybe they've evolved and now they have some new compound in their body or something. But
Well,
what were we gonna say,
wasn't
Jack?
there a concept? Wasn't part of the when they were filming Jurassic World and it was called the Diabolus Rex, the D-Rex. There was a bunch of extras that were part of the scene, saying that there were scenes they were filming where the
It grew too
Indominus
big.
was growing too fast than they could construct the paddock.
Oh my, yeah.
And
Oh,
then
We
it
had
was
an
like-
extra on set tell us
they
this.
talk
there was
about
an
that in the
extra.
movie too, how they have to reconstruct it because it got too big.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're
But
right.
apparently there was scenes being filmed where they would actually be like, we can't, it's scary, we can't, it's
Can't
growing
contain
fast
it.
and the paddock is whatever. But they didn't show any of that. Whether that's true or not, maybe that was just the extra in reinterpreting something. But maybe that's kind of the concept, because they were doing that. The Indominus Rex did grow really fast and really big. Maybe whatever's on this island, well, maybe these colossals are all leftovers from there that have ended up on this island or something
Like,
in that sense.
that would be
They
cool.
weren't doing that.
That would be cool if Jonathan Bailey's character was like, yeah, Mosasaurus wasn't actually that big. These people just created him and made him bigger, or something, because he would know.
That almost sounds like they're shitting on Jurassic World so badly. They're like, open world dinosaurs? No, actually, they're not.
I mean,
open world, just here. You know what I mean? Like big dinosaurs? No, they're actually this small.
They
Like
shit
a
on.
Velociraptor,
I mean, Jeff
Yeah,
Goldblum,
raptors, this one, this is how they actually
Ian Malcolm in Dominion was like, Jurassic World, yeah, not a fan.
yeah. He's talking about the movie.
Speaking of raptors, do you think like with this new movie we might see feathers introduced anywhere?
I think we might see some weird evolutions.
I think you
think
might see
it's-
less feathers because it's tropical, right? It might get hotter.
Yeah.
Feathers is not
Yeah.
necessarily. I mean, it's not necessarily for heat and like heat retention and stuff. Could be like for other displays and shit. But like, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Don't kill me. But I don't know. Like, it's just for my own, and especially the leaks and stuff too, that they almost got like confirmed in a way to a certain degree after the plot details came out yesterday. So like, they're saying they're like almost more retro, spiky in a way, scaly. But they're also
Colorful.
saying Jurassic Park
People were-
3 raptors are back and they're more
Yeah.
feathery, so it's like contradicting itself. You know,
Well, that's the thing.
I don't know.
I would prefer the dinosaurs in this one to be scaly, retro-y.
Mhm.
I prefer the original dinosaurs without feathers. I think it's just a personal preference at this point. But I would like to avoid feathers entirely. I think because the Pyroraptor just looks silly. I think. No offense, I think it looks silly.
Wow.
But
I've
it
never heard
had
that
the
before.
feathers for a reason, though.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it's
You
also
needed to stay warm in that
talk
cold.
shit
it's
about it.
also
I've never
one
heard
of the
anyone else say
dinosaurs that probably like didn't survive. If we're going to
Right.
like equatorial environments.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. What have we heard about the dinosaurs? I don't think much at this point until we get an official look. I mean, the dinosaurs in Dominion, we know they were changing throughout.
They've changed in every Jurassic movie.
Yeah.
That's the worst part. I know people like seeing new dinosaurs, but the thing that I always like didn't like about the franchise is like, oh, we're introducing all these new species. I'm like, dude, you had like an original list. Like, I understand like other people can make it, but like then it just reduces the impact of how impressive
Mhm.
Dr. Wu's thing was. Like the fact that he made dinosaurs and he's the only one that can do it. Now you're telling me everyone can do it, and then we
Yeah.
just have a world of dinosaurs. It makes it a less special thing then.
It makes it makes the different iterations of dinosaurs less like, oh my god, they made that. It's kind of like,
Yeah, it's just like whatever, no one cares. It's like it's not a special thing just to make a dinosaur. Then like if everyone can just do it and it's open source, it's not special anymore. That's the thing about Jurassic Park. I think it was like maybe because it was the time it came out, but like capturing that lightning in a bottle, I think it was such a special movie because of I think I don't even know where I'm going with this. Never mind. I'll come back to this later.
I was just gonna say that if people are talking about like old dinosaurs or Jurassic Park 3 raptors are returning or Spinosaurus is returning or whatever, like maybe we're on Sorna for a second and that's why. But I don't know. People like the gist of what people have been saying about the Rebirth dinosaurs is that new design, it's more colorful, they're adapted to their environment, and it's more flashy, basically. So I don't know.
yeah, I've heard from various different sources at this point. Some people say it's retro design, it's all the classic Jurassic, they feel like again. Then I've heard it's colorful, ridiculous, over exaggerated, Godzilla-esque. And I think at this point, they must just be examining and exploring, or they were examining and exploring loads of different options. Probably had a load of different visual styles laid down on the table.
Mhm.
And I guess ultimately it would have come down to Gareth once he was involved. And they probably had a visual style for David Leitch, and Gareth probably went, ooh, no. And they swapped a lot over. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see, though, because there are just so many dinosaurs in this franchise now. There's so many different looks and styles. There's ones with feathers, ones without. You have all the original dinosaurs that people still love. People really want a Spinosaurus resurgence, right? People really want the spine.
Go.
Way to go.
Oh,
But they do. I
negative.
think people want to see it. But people, you got to think, right? People want to see the JP3 Spino. When they talk about the Spinosaurus, nobody's talking about a different, brand new Spinosaurus. We are talking
Right.
about wanting to see that one again, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to see that one and more of them, but yeah.
Babies.
I don't
Like
mind
the
seeing like
Godzilla baby.
a Palean like an accurate Spinosaurus, you know, like because that's what the big complaint is about the Spinosaurus on
I would.
socials.
That's the
and
only
shit
way
like that.
I want to see a Spinosaurus at this point. I almost don't want to see the old school Spino because it's just going to be like, oh, we're just going to have the T-Rex kick its ass because.
I would
fanboys?
love
not-
to see a
yeah.
paleo accurate Spinosaurus. I think that would be a great time. Like
It would be
because
cool.
a
I mean,
paleo
it's
accurate
like
Spinosaurus
it's
would
so
be
different than what we've seen.
exactly, and it's like this menacing creature that hunts from the river, basically, and that would be fun.
I would.
I mean, we have
also
a lot of
enjoy
water
that.
sequences here. It seems like a majority of the filming. Now we know why, because they get capsized. Two, they have to get the DNA from the mosasaur. So a lot of water scenes, but I can almost see them introducing another water scene of a Spino attack. And since we know it's more aquatic now, perfect place to put it is in the swamps in where they filmed in Thailand or in the caves of Thailand. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Perfect
Yeah,
place.
there was a
but
piece
what's
of filming that they did through sort of like it was a big body of water, but it had big mountains by the side of it, and there was smoke and everything coming off the boats, and there was 2 or 3
It was
boats
a smaller
involved.
boat too, right?
Mhm.
It could be. I mean, yeah, it could be a Spinosaurus boat attack. It could be the yacht that was there. Maybe the yacht with the family were parked in that bay, similar to the opening of The Lost World. Just kind of wealthy people on their yacht, tropical island. It's abandoned. We're just here by ourselves, and then they get caught up in the middle of this ridiculous.
That's what I was gonna say. Is what do we think capsized the family's boat.
It's got to be the Moza. Right?
Marauding dinosaurs.
Yeah, but
Orcas.
Optus says.
what if
Aquatic dinosaurs.
what if
Yeah.
it's not? What if it's not the Mosasaurus?
Big Pharma.
I mean, I think there's a chance it's the Spinosaurus if we're really going down this. It's coming back
Let's
as a
get- let's
species,
get-
and it's an
but then
aquatic
no one
species.
dies though, right? Probably no. Maybe they. Do we?
I mean,
That's the one thing I wish we had a little bit of a bigger cast, just a little bit bigger, so we can get a little bit more bodies. You know what I mean?
yeah.
If it's really a rebirth,
There's
why
no
don't we?
reason to think that most people in this cast could die, though, in the movie.
Rupert Friend is definitely dying.
The opposite of a
Oh, yeah.
rebirth, Jaden. If
The
everyone
Merc
dies.
crew is dying.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, so many
I don't
voices
think
just
anybody
happened in
should
my
be.
head just then.
You know, it'd be great if we got to the end of the movie and
Scarjo's it.
No, I mean we talked
No
about
one.
this yesterday. Like
no one survives the end of the movie.
usually you'd be like, no, that's the dumbest thing. But like, look who the director is. Literally Gareth Edwards, who did
Yeah.
Rogue One, where the entire main character squad dies by the end of the movie.
That's true. Yeah.
And what rating does Rogue One have?
PG-13, baby, made by
PG-13,
Disney.
so it can be done. It's got nothing to do with
Yeah.
worried about, oh, they can't do that in a Jurassic. It's like, well, yeah.
Right.
What if
The
what
only
if
thing
ScarJo
is the children, like as
Yeah.
a
Scarjo
creature,
can
they-
eat it, man. She can eat it.
what if
No.
ScarJo survives to the end alone like our Jurassic
That's cool
Ellen
too.
Ripley?
I'm
I
okay
mean,
with
yeah,
that.
that's going to be the likely scenario. But I
Yes.
think also in that sense, Jonathan Bailey will survive because
Mm.
he's a main character. And they look at it. They obviously look at it from, well, we need him to survive for another one. They're obviously going to look at it like that. But I would almost think it would be cooler if Scarlett had worked her contract out based on what her experience with Marvel. Not saying it was good or
Mhm.
bad, but maybe she's like, nah, I'm doing one.
To where
It's one.
I was gonna
That'd
say
be-
worked
that'd
it
be
out
the
to where
best.
she
And
gets
then
a
kept
solo
like,
movie
"Alright,
or
cool."
something.
Kep's like, right, just quickly write a death scene.
Only Bailey survives,
Yeah, what if only Bailey? What if
and the family, obviously.
Yeah, Jurassic has
Yeah,
never killed kids before.
Yeah,
so.
that's what I'm saying.
They're not gonna kill.
first for everything?
Maybe one of the kids. Actually, there's three of them.
If it's
I
a
think
rebirth, kill off the kids. We never use them anyways for
Two-
future
two of
entries, so
the-
just kill 'em off.
Let's
Two
go.
of the children are at least teenagers, I think. So,
So
There we go. We can
What?
kill him then, right?
Yeah.
presumably, it's probably not gonna get eaten.
Only the little girl survives, but she's alone on the island.
Nah,
Nobody-
heck it, her too.
Let's
Into
get
the
a dark ending.
Mosasaurus.
Yeah, let's get a dark ending. Let's do it.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Mission failed.
Yeah, no, I this
We'll get it
might not be
next
the movie
time.
for it, but
Jurassic
I do
World mission failed.
think-
Oh, should we? Nah, never mind.
Go. What you were saying something, Jack? What were you saying?
I can't remember. I definitely. This is Gareth Edwards. His movies do always have a bit of a bleak feel to them, which is great. I definitely we need that, but I don't. I think this movie will feel more in line with the world movies than than I'm hoping. Maybe
Sure.
I feel like it will be quite upbeat. There'll be lines of funny. You know what I mean?
But there'll be kept lines of funny.
Yeah. I just feel like there's a lot of the studio are not going to want to let go of how the world movies feel, I think, and how, because there's, as we said, the first thing in this plot synopsis is how much money they've made.
Yeah, and
they
it's
are
like
wanting to maintain that same.
the three
flow.
big massive dinos.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we also know that Universal's aware of how Dominion played out. They know the quality of the movie, regardless of how you liked it or how much money it made. We know for a fact Universal's like, yeah, the script's not that great, but whatever.
Yeah, we've read those studio exec leak notes. We
I
know that
do.
somebody at Universal was like, no,
Yeah,
this needs to change, and it didn't.
I do think
So-
they're gonna they are in some portion of their mindset trying to move away from the Jurassic World franchise and Dominion, and the top. Yeah, at the top of the thing they say how much money they've made, but they also say the enduring franchise is what do they say? In an ingenious, coming
Yeah.
back in an ingenious new way or whatever they
Evolves
say.
in-
Ingenious fresh way or something
New
something like
direction.
that.
So I do
It
think
does say new direction. Yeah.
I do think that fresh is part of their mindset.
And Rebirth too,
Yeah.
Rebirth,
Direction
it's
of
Rebirth of the franchise, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
Rebirth
Rebirth of the
of-
dinosaurs. People are like, I don't know if that was a joke on Twitter, by the way. Dinosaurs aren't. I think it's sick try. I'm not talking.
Yeah,
I'm not
sick
talking
track.
shit about
Yeah,
them.
Yeah.
dinosaurs
Everything is
aren't,
birthed. Not everything is
hatched.
born.
Sure, exactly. But this is the rebirth of the franchise. Hopefully, it's a correct birth?
People were saying dinosaurs
I don't
aren't
know the
birthed,
term.
they're hatched, and it's like, yeah, they come
egg
out of an
hatches, but
organism
isn't-
before they're hatched.
Yeah, the egg hatches, but isn't that process part of a birth?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so
It's a birthing process, I would say.
let's stop being anal about it and let's just agree. that
Exactly.
dinosaurs are also birthed too, right? Oh no, that's gonna be clipped out.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about water dinosaurs and sky dinos.
Water finds a way.
There it is.
So, Cease, I don't think you were here when I asked about the title, but what do you think of the title? And also the fact that it's Jurassic World first and then Rebirth. What do you think? Also, by the way, I don't know if they're doing this in different places, but everywhere I've seen it is Jurassic World Rebirth without
Without the colon.
Yeah, which is a first, because Dominion, everything was written with the colon. Unless I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I don't know, actually. I'm pretty sure they've always had a colon between...
I think
after
they've
Jurassic
never
World
been
and
able
stuff.
to decide. And then their social copy is so inconsistent
be
that
that.
sometimes they forget the colon.
Okay, yeah, it could be that.
Anyway, Assis.
Yeah, what do you think?
Title.
about it?
I don't like it. Like I said, like I'm playing. No,
We
it's not-
needed you. No, we needed you to come in and share your opinion.
Wait, what? Do you guys all like the title?
I like it.
Yeah,
I
fine.
think it still needs to.
Corey doesn't like it.
It's better than Saga and City, but
True.
it's
I
still.
always would have preferred Jurassic City.
Me
though,
too,
because
actually.
it's so,
Really?
like, what?
Oh,
What is that?
nah,
I'll tell you
man.
why, guys. Because
Mm-mm.
I don't know about you.
Lego
There's
City
another
type shit.
very big franchise out there. It's called Final Fantasy. I don't know if you've heard about it. I'm currently playing a game called Final Fantasy Rebirth. There's about
Yeah.
like 10 other games.
It's
before
Final
that.
Fantasy VII also.
Yeah,
Me-
you know what I mean.
Aziz
But there's
and I
about
No,
10
but
other
it's-
games that
it's-
have
What's the
Rebirth in the
plot
title.
of that
It's
game?
also the 7th installment, whereas Rebirth is also the 7th installment in Jurassic.
Yeah, is there any ties? What's it about? Has David Kep played it?
Listen, buddy, I have no idea what this game is about. It's very
The
confusing.
inspiration.
Even Warzone, like Call of Duty Warzone, the game mode have Rebirth. There's so
It's a
many,
very
like,
video
yeah,
game title.
It's a very
and the
video, yeah.
And Jaden, would you not agree that when you saw this logo, that you got instant memories of Jurassic World Evolution 2?
Yeah, I legit just said that at the part
Yes.
of the podcast when Jack asked me because I was like 4 a.m. when I saw it. I was like, oh, they finally announced Jurassic World Evolution 3.
Yeah,
and I was like,
exactly, right?
oh,
It's
no.
a very video
Oh,
gamey
yeah, that's
look.
true. The logo
Yeah.
is really... Yeah.
So,
But
that's
yeah,
why I
Rebirth
don't
is
like
a
the title
very, very-
personally.
Yeah. We did speak about that, Aziz and I, when we first started hearing the title about it, and we started going back and forth because
I think that
it's brought to my mind straight away of video games because
Yeah.
that's my field of shit. So
That's my field
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah.
me and Jaden are the video game boys. So like, it's just video gamey to me.
the Jurassic
and the
World title
whole-
helps distinguish it, at least.
No, it
Yeah,
sounds
but
like a
I think
video game
that's the
title.
negative for me is the fact that I said before, Assis, I'd rather it be called like Rebirth standalone and has Jurassic World as a subtitle or something. I think calling it Jurassic World first feels like it's okay. It is the fourth one, but it's like just carries on. I'd rather it distinguish itself by its title. That would be cool. But
Well, we do know that there was a different title before this.
yeah,
So
That
there was
they
this is not the
didn't
first
like.
title they came up with. There was a title before this. It got thrown out for whatever reason by whoever.
do we know what that title was?
We think it
No.
might be Jurassic World Extinction only because Universal trademarked
But
that
they've
name.
had Jurassic Park Extinction trademarked and the domain registered since 1999. So
I know,
it's
but
not-
if you think about it logically, if you play this story
It works
as an
with the plot
extinction
now.
title, it
Yeah.
almost makes sense that it could almost be an extinction. Perhaps it is saving humanity from extinction. That's why we need the DNA. So
that's
perhaps
think-
that
what I
title.
was-
I
Yeah,
think they're
that's what I was
saving it to
wondering about.
use later.
I also talked about like if you're gonna restart the or reboot the franchise in a way, you don't want to start with the title Extinction. It almost sounds like the end of something. Rebirth sounds like a fresh start, a new beginning in a way.
Yeah,
So it's like
yeah.
it's almost like, oh, Rebirth. I can just come into this and watch Jurassic World, even though I haven't seen Jurassic World 1 and 3. You know what I mean?
I think they should have been putting the subtitle first since Fallen Kingdom.
Since Lost
Agreed.
World, they should have never stopped putting. It should have
Exactly.
been 3 Jurassic Park.
I'd still watch it. It should have been Breakout or Extinction. It should have been the original screenplay for Jurassic Park 3. That would have been right. It's a shame that never happened. But yeah, I agree with you. I think Jurassic World made sense being called that. New park, new era. Fallen Kingdom was a much better title, like being the actual title of the movie.
Just like The Lost World is a great title.
Yeah, and then Dominion being the name of the movie because everybody calls it.
That's a
Dominion
bad
anyway.
title.
It's yeah, regardless of what you think of the word Dominion as being the title, just calling the movie Dominion Jurassic World sounds better. It's better, and
It sounds more epic.
And it also, yeah, that's how most people refer to the movie, if I remember correctly. The logo on the poster was always just the round logo, and people would just, it's Dominion, right? Dominion. Maybe that was just us.
It's the T-Rex circle movie.
Yeah. Speaking of that logo, you were mentioning how it's kind of like the evolution logo, colors and wise. And I think Ryan was analyzing the logo a bit and giving it some context and like what we're seeing. Behind the T-Rex, there's, you said it looks like clouds, or
there's like clouds and rain, but like very faint.
Very faint, right? Yeah. I personally don't like the logo.
Well, no, it's like I said, it's like the video game, right?
It looks like Jurassic World Evolution a lot.
It does. The color scheme.
And yeah, it just isn't. It's not like it looks bland, like how the very first Jurassic World logo that they released, which wasn't the final movie logo or the in-universe one. It was just that first one they used, which was really sort of like grey and blue and matted and flat. It kind of gives off that same vibe. It's not like popping or anything like that.
Maybe it's going to evolve a little bit.
Like the big thing I keep coming back to with all this Jurassic World Rebirth stuff is the rebirth. It really seems like it's like a new dawn. Like the biggest thing I see in the logo, regardless of the color scheme and everything, is the sun. It's the gleam of the sun coming up behind the logo. That's new. We've never seen that. And the fact the teaser logo starts with the sun coming up behind the logo, you know what I mean? It's like someone put on Twitter, the sun was setting in Dominion, right? At the very end with the parasaurs and the horses running across the field.
And the ankylosaurus as well. Like it was like a sunset.
Sun was setting. And now, but with the teaser, with the poster, the sun's coming up on, you know what I mean? So it's like a rebirth in a way.
Yeah, I think was it Josh that put the picture of the end of Dominion on Twitter and said
sunset to sunrise.
This was more of a direct, like bookends kind of thing. Who has any final thoughts for me on Jurassic World Rebirth? Anything we want to take away from this news? Anything you want to say? If not, I'll say goodbye.
Scarlett Johansson.
I like.
We didn't even talk about her that much.
I know.
This is a quick question for Sam. When they put out that photo of them, of her and Jonathan Bailey, right? Did anyone else have like a half a millisecond moment of thinking that was Haley Atwell instead of Scarlett Johansson? I looked at it, I was like, when did she get in this movie? To me, the side profile looks exactly like Haley Atwell. And it took me a second to realize it was Scarlett Johansson.
That's fair. She does they do have a similar profile.
Same hair color.
Let's just talk about her for a second before we wrap. I think it's very important to talk about the other lead in the movie.
Sure.
I was talking about her. I was analyzing the shit out of her, I guess, costume. Costume, right? Wardrobe, costume, whatever. Stuff she's wearing. So I'm like, I'm in the army, so I'm a bit of a kit whore, if you will. Pardon my language. So I was analyzing. I was like, okay, so to me, it seems like, based off my knowledge, which is pretty in depth, it seems to me she has some sort of army ruck style waterproof backpack on, not a typical little backpack like Owen was carrying. This is like more like a 72-hour pack. For other military folks out there, you know what the difference between a 72-hour pack and a 48-hour pack is. You know the difference. She also has some sort of molly or some sort of tactical vest on.
Yeah. Whoa.
That's it's a term.
Yeah, it seems to be some sort of almost like a lower body. If you think of chest rig, for all the army military folks out there, chest rig, it's like chest rig without the chest part. So it's just the bottom half of the rig. I'm assuming she definitely has some sort of weapon. You can see a sling on her right shoulder, and yeah, she seems to be like covert military. She's got like
the leader of a covert ops team.
She's got a schmog around her neck too. So it's like almost like it's like the Iraq colors, like Afghanistan colors. So it's almost like she's like a military veteran almost, or like some sort of obviously she's a veteran of some sort of covert operation. So she's probably like CIA, DEA, or whatever.
And this kind of stuff made me feel like they really looked at Black Widow and were like, we want some of that character in this character. In my opinion.
And I think Keeping Up with Scarlett on Twitter posted about it too, but I noticed just the little things as Scarlett Johansson fans. One, she gets to keep her natural hair.
Yeah.
And she has her earrings.
And her
Yeah.
earrings. Yeah, I saw that too.
That's
Yeah.
in her contract. You know it is.
Yeah. No, I think it's great that they are letting, well, probably not letting, it's probably in your contract, like you said, but, having some more like personal touches, and it looks more like Black Widow did, honestly, with,
They
they have a little more character.
All three characters in these images both just look like very realistic, grounded human beings, if that makes sense.
That's what I was trying to get to. That's my point. Like, the fact that I can recognize this shit based off my life is like, they're grounding this shit to like make them realistic characters. Like, ScarJo's a normal person. She doesn't have like weird, funky hair like Charlize Theron does in Fast and Furious. You know what I mean? Like, it makes a difference. It kind of takes you out when you see her with weird hair like Charlize Theron in Fast and Furious. The fact that Scarlett Johansson looks like a normal person.
That haircut was Fast and Furious for sure.
Yeah, you kind of know what I mean though. Like, when I say like Charlize Theron in Fast and Furious, your head goes to like her and that weird haircut.
Steve, what do you think about Mahershala's beret?
I hate it because obvious.
I like it.
Yeah, I know. Great. Yeah, I'm sure you do, but for obvious reasons, I don't think a beret should be worn. Also, I'm very picky about my beret style, so it's got to be pressed properly. You got to shave that shit all the time.
Sure.
And the fact that you're wearing that shit out in public, out around the wilderness, you're gonna get shit on it, dirt. Forget about it.
Do you think it makes him better at his job? Do you think it helps him get away from dinosaurs?
I mean, he's probably like
It's a special beret.
an army guy.
He's Scarlett's most trusted team leader.
So that tells me that they're like, it's like an army movie almost. Like, I'm so pumped. I told you guys earlier in the pod, and one of the other
I'm
pods,
excited.
I love like macho movies. This is like a macho movie vibe in a way. Like, look at ScarJo's tough. She's a tough actress. And then John Bailey's jacked as shit. Mahershala Ali's jacked as shit. Rupert Friend is probably like very cut. Like, everyone's big. I'm very excited for this movie.
I think that's a good note to end it.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining, everybody. It's been great having this chat. There's so much to discuss going forward. There's so much we didn't talk about on this podcast, but we're going to have to save it for another one. Everybody that listens to the InGeneral podcast, thank you so much for tuning in. Let us know in the comments what else you want us to talk about, if there's anything we missed. Any final thoughts? Anyone?
Water finds a way.
JP3 Rebirth.
Jaden knows.
ScarJo.